The main characters for March 2025 astrology are going to be Virgo, Pisces, and Aries, and no one else. My reasoning for saying this, on March 1st, Venus goes retrograde in Aries. On March 14th, there will be a lunar total eclipse in Virgo, and then on March 15th, Mercury goes retrograde in Aries. You see where this is going? On March 27th, Venus ends its retrograde period in Aries, but it's still retrograde, and then it goes into Pisces. And then on March 29th, we have a solar eclipse in Aries. On the same day of the solar eclipse in Aries, we're going to have Mercury leave Aries and go into Pisces, but still be retrograde. So this is an eclipse season, but it's also two inner planets going retrograde. Mercury is the planet of communication, siblings, short travel like our cars, and also just technology in general. So when it's retrograde, these things can be funky or more prone to have like technological errors or miscommunications. When Venus goes retrograde, it is the planet of relationships, both platonic and romantic, and also material possessions, wealth, and value. You could have unexpected bills pop up. You could be noticing that maybe like your money's disappearing and you have to manage it differently. You could be also noticing that your relationships are having more of a reflective period, or you need to take a pause on certain things. You are heavily advised during Venus retrograde periods to not jump into new relationships or jump out of relationships because you might regret those decisions later. Usually things that happen during inner planet retrograde seasons will be undone later. So like when there is crazy news in the media, or like a breaking story, something could come out later that kind of undoes what was done during retrograde season. Mercury retrograde, you usually see a lot of cancellations happen, and then usually when Mercury station is direct, either that person ended up being like framed or lied on, and usually that's like when lawsuits start happening. But anyways, with Venus and Mercury retrograde, granted Venus can also be like literally litigation law, there could be miscommunication or like false information happening that ends in a lawsuit. That's just top of my head. Another thing to mention is that Mercury is not the most positive in Pisces, meaning it's at fall, it's not a very favorable position. Our speech is going to be very flowery and delusional. Not to mention when Venus is in Aries, it's detriment, meaning it really doesn't work well here. Aries is brash and impulsive, and operating through Venus, where you're expected to be more harmonious or diplomatic, it can go like haywire. So people are more prone to be impulsive, make outbursts, or like crazy decisions, erratic behavior. But then when Venus goes into Pisces, it'll be exalted, which is a more favorable position for Pisces. However, because it's retrograde, people could be more disillusioned or just not getting the full information, especially while Mercury is in Pisces as well. I will be posting free mood boards about all of these placements and what they mean for each rising sign on Twitter, and then I will also be posting some information about this on Patreon. So yeah, and I'll probably just continue to do a bunch of like voiceover TikToks where like how each sign is impacted in March. So stay tuned for that. But